Hello, welcome to my channel, The Coherence Path. All paths lead to you. My name's Stefan, and this is my channel. And the subject for today is whether you should start your own YouTube channel. Seems to be a very pertinent question nowadays, and that depends on, I guess, what your interests are. I do have my perspectives, and I'll share them. This won't be a long video, so sit back, relax, and let me give you some information that may not even be useful to you, or that might be. So, if I was 20 years old, let's pretend, because we know that's not the facts, I would certainly consider doing a YouTube channel. I was thinking on my drive out here, in this wonderful old truck of mine, that if I was 20 years old, yeah, maybe I wouldn't know what I wanted in life. I wouldn't have had that much experience at that point, perhaps. Though people that grew up in my generation, heck, by the time I was 20, there was a lot of things I could do. But that being said, I thought a wonderful idea for somebody who's young, whether they're 15 or 20 or 25 or 30. I think that if I was that age, I would start a YouTube channel, something about this is what I dream for my life. And then I would invite the audience to come along with me. It would work in beneficial ways in that the audience would be able to imagine that, well, maybe they could do that regardless of their age. They can dream about possibilities ahead of them, whether they're 95 or 55 or 25. So that's one way it could work. It could inspire people to look ahead at their life and perhaps create something in the days that they have ahead. But another key element in the process of this idea, that if you're 20 years old and you establish you're a nice, friendly person, and you establish that maybe you let people know what your interests are and what your background is, that your audience is going to be able to, if you request, give input of what they think you ought to do. And then you can explore some of those ideas. You can say, hey, give me a vote about perhaps, working at a coffee shop, or starting my own home business, whatever it is, or travel. So your audience can give you all kinds of inputs about those ideas, and you can learn from those. So you'll get probably comments from professionals. Let's say you were 20 something and you wanted to go into real estate. You don't know anything about it, but your parents maybe said, hey, if you'll put forth the effort and buy yourself a house, we'll help you fix it up. So then you might have part of your audience members are realtors or contractors or so forth, and so they can give you input. And if you sincerely tell your audience, I'm young, I don't know much, but I'm willing to learn, please forward your ideas to me, you'd probably be surprised at the connections you could make, and the fact that you're not tied down with perhaps a young family. You can travel. If I was living in, let's say New Hampshire, and you lived in California and you wanted to learn how to install a door, maybe if I'm retired and I had the money, I'd just fly you out and teach you how to do it. Maybe somebody who lives in Europe and owns a castle, maybe they'd want you to go over there and learn stonemasonry. There's just an endless possibilities. That's my point, is that when you're only 20 years old or around that age, you don't have to have a whole lot of obligations. I mean, you could beg your parents and say, hey, could I move back in? I got to try something different and something new. Or you can move in with friends and sleep on a couch. But get rid of some of the obligations of being in the mesmeric inertia, as I call it, the the habit of having to go to work and pay rent and all that stuff, which creates a circle that you just keep, you know, uh, looping around every month. You know, if you really want some new change in your life, consider, what it would take to do that. Now, if you are at least 30 or older, or as old as myself in your 60s, you have some life experience. So, should you start a YouTube channel? That's really up to you. But I do know that people learn from stories, and sciences, psychology or science or whatever, has pretty much proved this, up to this point. It's not a hidden or secretive thing. We learn from stories. That's why we just love watching movies. We love reading books, and we love hearing somebody's just talk about their day or whatnot, because we learn from those experiences. And if you're 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 or 90, you've got life experience that is useful, that can teach other people something, not only about your life, but about life in general. As an example, we'll take this old truck today and we'll use it as a metaphor. So I bought basically this truck when I was about 14, and now the first one I owned I ended up trading for a motorcycle, which was a dumb idea, as most of you probably agree. But anyway, many years ago I acquired this pickup, and I've taken good care of it. I've put a new engine in it and new wheels, and kind of given it a little bit of updating so it's a little more comfortable and safe to drive. And I enjoy just driving it. I'm not a car guy per se. I don't hang out at swap meets. I don't work on cars. I'll work on this just because it's kind of a fun, meditative, simple thing to do. Don't ask me to do any engine work on your brand new, 2025 Toyota. I'm just not your guy. But my desire and just interest and love for this old truck has allowed me to have this story in my life for a few decades that is sort of a momentum in my life. It's just an enjoyable thing to have around. I remember when I had a dog, he used to sit on the seat next to me and in between myself and my youngster. And we used to go pick up pumpkins with it. We used to get Christmas trees. I used it for work for about 10 years. I put this truck through its definition. It's defined as a work vehicle. And I hauled all kinds of wood with it, and concrete, and all kinds of materials and so forth. And it's gotten a good workout. Now it's sort of retired. I do still use it that way sometimes, but not in the way I did before. But my life experience with this truck has been an enjoyable one. So there might be things in your life that are part of your life experience that you can talk about, regardless of your age. So if you're considering doing a YouTube channel, consider how much pleasure it can give you to just share your own experience as a person who's lived on this planet for 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years or so. Because, we all know that our consciousness needs to evolve to where we're part of one community, where we're actually not just acting kind, but we're actually being kind to others. And by sharing our stories and our lives and our life experiences, we sort of help stitch together that community that eventually, over time, we will become. So I guess my last word is no, you don't have to start a YouTube channel. I'm certainly not going to sell you on some big idea of making $1 billion creating a YouTube channel. I think the most important thing in life, hopefully, is that we do something because we enjoy doing it. If you're a person that enjoys talking to people down at the coffee shop or at the library or emailing somebody back and forth, sharing stories or life experiences, or just talking about things, it could be talking about a million different things, then maybe you would enjoy having an audience that you can share your thoughts and ideas with. So there's no way I can make a decision for you. I can tell you that it's been interesting, it's been a learning experience and enjoyable for me to do it so far. So those are my little tidbits of whether you should start a YouTube channel. My short answer is I have no idea. And maybe that's your short answer too. But the long answer might end up to be that it creates a lot of joy for yourself along the way. Just like this old truck has given me. Thank you.